The Detroit River is the busiest international crossing in North America. 5 million people live in the Detroit River watershed, where they have worked and recreated for many generations. The river is situated in the most biologically diverse region in Canada. It's the only river designated as both an American and Canadian heritage river. Its importance is woven through the fabric of our community. When the Windsor-Detroit area underwent rapid industrialization at the turn of the 20th century, the Detroit River became notoriously polluted. The 1970s and 1980s saw the development of a massive conservation effort aimed at cleaning up the Detroit River. In 1987, the Detroit River was identified as one of 43 areas of concern, or extensively degraded areas of the Great Lakes, under the Great Lakes Water Quality Agreement. Since 1987, for nearly 35 years, the Detroit River Canadian Cleanup, or DRCC, has been working with partners to implement hundreds of projects to address the impairment of the river's beneficial uses and return the river to health.
So in 1972, Canada and the U.S. signed the Great Lakes Water Quality Agreement designed to protect and restore Great Lakes water quality. They established areas of concern, which were basically environmentally degraded areas of the Great Lakes that they wanted to target for cleanup and restoration efforts. So there were several reasons why the Detroit River area of concern was established. One of them was due to combined sewer outflows, also habitat degradation and other pollutants, contaminants entering the water. So the Detroit River Canadian Cleanup is a partnership that was established to restore, enhance, and protect the Detroit River and to remediate and implement the cleanup plan for the Detroit River area of concern. We work with industry, municipalities, local governments, as well as federal and provincial governments. We do pollution prevention projects, partner with local municipalities to improve sewage treatment facilities, as well as terrestrial and aquatic restoration habitat projects. The Detroit River offers several ecological and economic benefits. And so when something interferes with the ability of the river to provide these benefits, it's considered impaired. It's called a beneficial use impairment. And so under the Great Lakes Water Quality Agreement, each area of concern has the potential to have up to 14 beneficial use impairments. On the Canadian side of the Detroit River was initially established an area of concern. 13 out of the 14 beneficial uses for the Detroit River on the Canadian side were considered impaired or required further assessment. To date, we only have 4 remaining impaired beneficial uses. We've been able to change the status of 9 of the originally impaired beneficial uses to not impaired.
Tremendous progress has been made in restoring the Detroit River thanks to significant investment from federal and provincial governments and collaborative efforts between municipalities and agencies, Indigenous communities, environmental organizations, industry, and interested citizens like you. Species such as lake sturgeon and bald eagles have returned and water quality has improved. Just 4 beneficial uses remain to be reclassified to not impaired on the Canadian side of the river, and then the Detroit River will no longer be listed as an area of concern. The Detroit River Canadian Cleanup looks forward to continuing to work with you to implement more stewardship projects to keep the river healthy and productive.